Hi everyone, I thought it was time to give you an update of my studio as it stands. There's been a lot of upheaval over the last year or so things are in different places. Though this is of course in the same place because it's the only place it'll fit. This is an Expedit unit from IKEA, and the baskets hold yarn, of course. This is a basket full of silks that I've been hand dyeing to make into this new design of knitting bag that many people will never get a chance to see because I just don't have enough material to make very many of them. This is my card file with snippets of yarn for darning. I'm glad I set that up. This basket holds my hand spun and some hand spun that was a gift from my friend Jane. Hers is that beautiful green. This is a Kumihimo stand that my friend Scott made and gave me as a gift. That is a big hole in the drywall, and that hole in the drywall is there because recently my friend Ben installed lights on either side of the studio ceiling for me. Each arm pivots and all the individual lamps pivot. That's been so helpful. Because of course with quilting in particular you need really good color perception, and when it's dark you can't perceive color very effectively. This is that big wave inkle loom that I got. Here is a pivot point for this big adjustable leg that comes off of the back of the loom. It's been really neat to work with, particularly when I'm doing things like basically production inkle weaving. A lot of my friends in the living history community all want matching things like, 5 or 10 or 20 red and black checky belts, and it's much easier to warp that once to get 5 than to warp it 5 times to get 5. There are quilting cottons. These baskets on the floor have, this one on the front has cottons for garments. The baskets behind have projects in various states of completion. Back here I now have my fat quarters and some of my scraps in these baskets. On the top here, the very top, are some quilting cottons that are made using William Morris prints. I'm really excited to have found those. I didn't hear about them being in production quickly enough because I don't pay attention as much as some folks do to what quilting cotton lines are coming out, so I'm really looking forward to looking at this, and I feel very lucky that I managed to find some. Here's that cutting station of mine, an old dresser. Got some baskets underneath storing different supplies. Got my quilting rulers, a lovely gift that my friend Beth made. My sock yarn, which is too big for its britches. I've got to get rid of some of that. Down below, this basket on the floor holds knitting bags and pin cushions and stuff like that. This is where my sewing machine used to be, but that's now on the other side of the room. So this is more like a desk area. I've got different little things I'm working on. My plaster mask of my face, which is kind of creepy, I know. Here is that bookcase under the window. This is now the only bookcase in the room. I moved a lot of the things I read slowly, like historical books on costuming, out into rooms that have comfortable chairs where I'll sit for a long time, hoping that that'll help me with the research process a bit. Let's see, I've got my needles, one cup that my friend Gail made, this lovely vase that my friend Virginia made. You can tell that I like to be surrounded by handmade stuff still. These lovely leather needle cases filled with antique bone and antler needles that my friend Brogan worked up for me. This lovely Russian hand-cut birch bark box that I'm having a really hard time parting with. Paper clips. Birdhouse that should have birds inside it, but we lost that tree. This lovely little bag my friend Jane knitted. Knall bending tools, embroidery tools, laying tools, darning stuff. These baskets running up the center still hold my collection of buttons. I'm sorry that that's so overexposed. My winder and Swift, Ganesha Ganesh, and some of the same things that were there before. Now this is where my sewing machine is. The table itself is pretty ugly. It was in my husband's office for a while, and then it was in the shed, but it's nice and big. It's about, well, it's a standard IKEA size, I guess. It's like the size of a door. And because I've got it in an L with this other table that I'll talk about in a second, I have room to puddle bed-size quilts up on that tabletop. Trying to quilt when gravity is yanking a quilt towards the floor is really, really difficult, so I'm hoping this will help me finish that queen-size quilt I've been working on for a while. That basket has a bunch of garment sewing projects in progress. There's one of my electric antique singers. I'm going to be giving those away. The black mound in the back there is a coat I'm making for my friend. And here, the pièce de résistance. This is that amazing Mission quarter sawn oak library table I got a little while ago. It's a library table because of that shelf and because of the height of the tabletop. On the bottom there I've got some grass baskets. The baskets on the shelf are full of strings and other scraps I use for quilting projects. My serger's here, and a bunch of my thread, and this thing I use to hold water for the iron. So far this has been really working out nicely. Over in this corner, now I've got my costuming in these lovely basket trunk things. They're nice and light, they breathe, which is really good for the fabric. And I know what's in each one because each one looks a little bit different or is a slightly different size. That's been really handy. This light colored basket on the floor, most of that is weaving yarns, but in the top I've got a couple of sweaters I need to mend. The darker basket has my shoes for living history. I have way too many shoes and too much costuming, but I don't care. This basket on the top has linens that need to be ironed, and that felt bag in the back is that rug project that I've been shamefully remiss about working on. I need to get back to that. So here on the wall I've got that sweet little quilted bag I made a while back with the Free Spirit fabrics, and this beautiful birch bark box bag loveliness holds Circus Minimus, which is a collection of handmade wooden and metal toys from around the world, and some of them are based off of historical patterns. And Circus Minimus is a game we play with the kids in our living history group, wherein we adults play the most ridiculous Jenga that's ever been seen, and the kids laugh and try and play with us, but end up knocking things over and over again. You can have fun without television, and we manage to do it quite often. Here's that circular needle holder that I made ages ago, a little knitting bag, driftwood distaff with some really wonderful blue-faced Leicester on it. This black bag holds the remainder of the wools for my wool-along Afghan, which is either done or not, depending on whether I want to add another row of squares. I have enough yarn to add another ring of squares all the way around the outside, but that's kind of intimidating. And in the closet, which is a complete mess, of course, I've got my ironing board, bags that I use, big hoops that I use for hand quilting, baskets full of all kinds of supplies, boxes of frames, my spinning fibers, batting. Closet of shame will be closed again. And that's the state of my studio. I hope you all have a great week. Bye.